Ooh.
So we have quorum?
We do quorum, yes.
All right. So the time is 12:04, and we will call this meeting to order. Thank you, Colette, for organizing everything. Could you please do the roll call and declaration of quorum?
Absolutely. Alexa,
Present.
Don,
Here.
Idris, oh, Idris, sorry. Bernice is not here. And then Susan is virtual.
Yes.
We have a couple ex officio members who are here and some that may be attending shortly. Dave Bochnowski is not here yet. Tina Short, not here yet. And Bill Geary.
Present.
We do have quorum. All right, next is our approval of the draft minutes you received by email, as well as a paper copy in front of you, the December 10th draft minutes and the January 8th draft minutes. Susan, if you could take a look just at the minutes, obviously you can't vote, but if you have any comments, you need to make any additions, modifications, please
I
share.
have printed them and I have reviewed them.
Okay. So just give a couple, 2 minutes to review that. If you all have any comments or additions or modifications, if you could do so at this time.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve both.
Well, I wasn't at the December 10th, so
Okay. So we have a motion to approve, and neither were we, so. Do we have a motion to approve both minutes after being read? Okay. They have been approved and seconded. Can we please have a vote to approve the things as presented of minutes? Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Voted and passed. We have approved the minutes for our December 10th meeting and our January 8th meeting. Next, moving on. Next up is our master public art plan update. Colette, I'm gonna pass it to you since you've done such a great job of making sure everything's in place.
Thank you. So we had a public hearing for the draft 2026 Master Public Art Plan. That was at Brookfield Penny on January 27th. We had 2 members of the public attend, Jen Swan from ASI, and then Michael Desmond from the Buffalo Hive. There weren't any major comments on the plan. There were some questions even amongst the committee members themselves. So really there were no changes between the draft plan to the final version that was sent to the Ledge on January 28th. So the plan is to attend, Alexa and I will attend the Community Enrichment Committee for the legislature on March 5th. And then the final legislative approval will take place on March 12th, which I'm still working on getting a time for you for that.
And I don't need to be at the March 12th one.
Correct.
Just the March 5th
Yeah,
one.
I think so. Yeah, if that's how they did it last
Yep.
year, then I think that's the same way that we'll do it this year.
Yeah.
Great. And then once the final plan is approved by the legislature, we can release the call for art for the major works. And that's to take place on March 16th. So that's the plan. So hopefully everything goes to plan.
Awesome. We've had, the public meeting was really awesome. It was interesting because we were also bringing up to speed some of folks like Tina. Joanna was there, so thank you, Joanna, for being there to talk about the Isle View project. And hopefully next time we do something like this, we'll have a larger turnout. But I think with some communication, maybe some social media stuff, we can at least get the public involved. Because I know after the fact, we typically have questions. So, okay. Next is reviewing the draft for the call for artists. We're gonna start with the IOU call. If everyone can take a look at that, that's in your packet. Probably go through section by section like we did last time, at least for the ones that are specific for this location. The majority of the call for arts, I think it's on page like the third or fourth page, that's pretty standard from our previous call. So it's a copy and paste. So we'll review the things that were added based on this location. Joanna, if you want to add anything at any time, or if you have any questions, or anybody else on the call, please let us know. Okay, so the deadline, the call will open on March 16th, which would be after the approval from the legislature. The deadline for submissions is going to be April 20th at noon. And as previously, only Erie County residents are eligible to apply. Thank you. Project overview. You all want to check that out. If there are any modifications, I don't think I need to read it out loud, do I? Thank you.
We have one more thing.
Oh, do you have any questions? Anybody have any questions regarding the project overview?
I will say there's a typo that will go away. So not the sentence, install public art at the along Erie County Shoreline Trail. So it'll just be install public art along.
Okay, so
I will say Joanna caught that first, so I'll give her credit.
okay, next is theme and messaging. Project theme is living systems, water, land, and the regenerative future. Take a few moments to explore that. I think we should have stickers for Seychelles.
As far as the location is concerned, it's a pretty long and narrow park. Do you have a sense of at what point of the park you think that this would make the most sense?
So there's an appendix at the end.
Yeah.
So some folks from DEP, from Joanna's side and then Garner's side, did go out and take some photos of potential spaces. I mean, ideally, the artists are given as much free reign as possible, but there are a couple of spots that were narrowed down.
Okay, great.
There's a new fire pit area too.
Right, yeah.
I don't know if that's in play.
Is that in there?
Snapshots of where they're taking. There's a pavilion and a fire pit that was just recently.
Right at the entrance, right?
By the entrance
Yeah.
behind the main building.
So we should include that maybe?
I don't like trying to. I've only been out there. We had.
Well, yeah, we had a presser there.
It wasn't think over well. It was pretty cold.
Somebody's hat fell off and hit another person. I think that was Nicole.
Yes, the park ranger.
It's
like a hard, almost like military.
I just have a quick question. I noticed that we don't have the budget. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, the budget figure in, and are we going to deal with that today, or are we going to decide not to put the total budget in, just the amount, the maximum amount?
No, we're gonna include the budget today. We just have to vote,
Okay.
discuss
right.
it and
Yep.
vote on it before we
Okay.
put it in.
Okay,
But to the point of the location, instead of maybe suggesting, maybe we should say these are the sites. Because if they select something, it's like, you know, DP is like, no, that's not the best place, or Joanna and her team like, no, that's absolutely not gonna work. Then we have to go through this whole process again.
Yeah.
So if we designate these are the locations that you should consider for, you know, that are open to consider for public art, I
Yeah.
think that would be beneficial for an artist.
I think that's a very good idea because, for that exact reason, we should be able to put in the sites we would like the artwork to be.
Yeah, yeah. So we need to add that photo.
So this goes back to that first section, maybe, instead of just saying along Erie County Shoreline Trail, you do need to say at Isle View Park along the shoreline trail, or be more specific in that first project overview section.
Yeah.
And I will just mention that those sites were selected, so we went out, Nicole and also the superintendent of parks, or of that park. Right, Nicole, I'm sorry, I forgot his name. You're muted, Nicole.
There's a gas line right over the fire.
I can see her talking.
We can hear you.
Maybe your microphone. Do you know ASL?
Oh, she hears us. There you are.
How about now?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. Sorry, I have multiple microphones. Yeah, Joanna and I and the park superintendent looked at the entire site and we picked a few options based on, you know, far enough from parking lots, areas where there weren't a ton of picnic tables or other amenities, and areas that, you know, wouldn't be too difficult for our staff to have to mow around, things like that.
Nice.
Snow removal needs to be considered.
Say it again.
Snow removal should be considered as well.
So understanding those two pieces and the new location, we're still good with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 locations that will be added to the draft. I think that's more than enough. So the one that says views along Niagara River, that's pretty vague. So is that,
I think we had initially mentioned like if an artist wanted to propose something on like the railing, like on the post or something like that. So I don't know if we want that spelled out or if we don't want that now. This was back when we were thinking we only had $10,000, so it would be a very small installation.
yeah, that you might want to take that one out only because of the location and the interpretation of what would be needed for that location. Don, do you have any comments regarding these locations?
No, I just hesitate to limit artists. If someone comes up with a location and a really brilliant idea that we love,
Yeah.
to say that we prefer these locations, however, we are open to possibilities due to the creative process.
Yeah, to extend the process. If you look at some facts and people don't agree on their site they propose, then it's not really consideration. Right? We have to-
I agree, and if, to Don's point, if we do add that verbiage, we would also need to include, you know, based on the park's concerns, need to be, you know, maintenance, aware of snow removal, and things like that, so,
Well, that could be put in the form for work too, though.
yeah,
These are considerations
for location.
for location, yeah.
Susan, what are your thoughts?
Well, I like the idea of being specific. Okay. So, whatever the committee, the rest of you decide is fine. I just think if you're not specific, other fabulous ideas may come in, but is that where we want the location, the art locations? You want to get the most impact you can possibly do it. I'm sure there are beautiful spots, which would make sense, but
The
Joanna?
last sentence there says the selected artist may work across all sites or a subset of the identified sites or propose alternative locations along the trail if better suited to their concept. So you could add something there that says the committee would take into consideration things such as maintenance, mowing, whatever you wanted to put in there.
Feasibility, like me and someone, Tim,
No,
Carson, just go up there and say yes
Yeah,
or
that's very last
no.
one,
Site visit for
on your
us.
location. I'm sorry, what? Thursday?
Like I said, that would just, yeah, they suggested something else, I could just leave parks there and pretty much sign off it in a couple minutes, so say no, it won't work, or yes, it will.
Yeah.
Because artists aren't always aware of certain things like infrastructure. We wanted to put a sculpture in front of the building here, and we couldn't. The city said no because of the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Can you remind me, did we shortlist it like before we made the final selection the last time? So like if you did have like 3 that we're deciding from, maybe a site visit, see where that person would want it?
We did not specifically do that. Out of all the calls, we just selected the ones that we wanted when we had that meeting. And then we had that, like,
Yeah.
meeting to make sure that, we were clear to move forward with that artist. But
We
we
had that one,
could.
the one part that got built.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Creek.
we did that, yeah,
So I was just wondering.
we could do that.
I mean, I don't know if that makes it easier in case 6 or 5
Yeah.
areas don't meet, this person sees something different. Yeah, maybe
So-
that'll be.
It might, the only thing that would be just more,
It'd be a site visit.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that-
On
that's,
your
that's
end.
okay.
Going through more work.
Yeah.
That's a site visit does not work. That sounds great. Going to the
Trips are
park.
fun. Yeah,
Perfect.
going to the park.
Depending on the time,
That's true.
certainly, and the weather. Time. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so
That sounds fine. Yeah,
you got all that?
Mhm.
So that way I think everyone is in agreement on the committee? We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we are gonna go with the 5 locations in terms of the photos for the site, but we're gonna make sure that we keep that sentence in and clarify it if required, which I don't think it is. Format, steering committee encourages. So moving on, is there anything else in the proposal that stands out? We have not gotten to the budget portion yet. Okay. So next is the budget. So how much money, we have how much money in our account as of this year?
So we have 220,722.54 cents.
220,700
22.54 cents.
Okay. What's your pleasure, committee? Knowing that we have 2 calls for public art, and we still have the requirement to do small works call this year. Last year for our small works, we did have a budget of 25.
I think it was
30.
20,000 to start, I believe.
Well, we added more, but what was our final?
Final was 29.
29, yeah, I thought it was near 30,000. So if we want to go based off of our acquisition budget for small works last year, we can deduct that from our total budget and then determine how much we want to allot for each project. But understanding, we did have some modifications in the public art budgets. Once the artists submitted their projects, we added or deleted some funds. So we also have to make sure that we account for those things.
I think they were saying 30 is fair.
Saying 30 for small works.
I think it was 29, but I mean. Rounded up, I suppose, I don't know.
Don, Susan?
Well, I think taking off the small works budget is a good idea. So we have a sense, and I think 25,000 makes sense if you all think that.
Well, it sounds like we're looking at maybe 30,000 just based off of the budget from last year.
That makes sense, whatever.
Yeah.
Do we have the location where the artwork's gonna go yet? Or
For
is
the small works?
Yeah.
No.
I think the 30,000 is a good amount.
So that leaves us with $190,722 to determine what our budgets for both locations, and 54 cents to determine what our budget is for the two public art locations, both Isleview and Botanical Gardens. Do I have
I
a
have a question.
Mhm.
What was the time frame last year from the day that the call for work is made public and the deadline? What
I
was
think
the
about a
time?
month.
What's a month?
I think so.
I'm just,
I don't recall.
wish we could give people a little more time.
Longer than a month.
Oh, yeah. I think
Week
we're,
long.
Can you? Yeah.
we're limiting a little bit. There might be other people out there who aren't aware of the project, and then they may come on board if they, for we give them a little time. It just seems, a month seems like a short amount of time for a project of this size for an artist to come up with a plan.
Call for art, deadline for public art.
Well, to your point, yes. However, I'll add to, now that we've done a successful year of it, people are gonna be more aware of it, so the more, I don't think we have to do as much pushing and pulling as we did last year, because we do have some positive momentum behind, like people being aware that we told them all last year that another round was coming.
Okay.
Right, so I'm gonna still look for what it was last year.
And Dave's looking too.
Okay, to see if we were still in that ballpark. I don't remember.
And if we look at the timeline, so the biggest thing is the amount of time that the artists are going to have available to create the work, especially with sculpture work, and get it to a foundry to have it manufactured. So with understanding that timeline, understanding the tariffs, how everything's backed with supplies, especially steel, which is advantageous for a sculpture, I think we need to make sure we lengthen the amount of time that we have for artists to,
Execute.
to create and execute, knowing that we want to release this in the summer for both projects. So I think we need to be aware of that. I think it was in
It was in March.
Yeah.
Because I was just trying to find some old emails.
It was before.
It was March.
Places folded.
Oh, yeah, so it was December, so the deadline was December. And we put the call out in
Yeah, it says
October.
October 15th, call the artist open date,
So we did have 2 months.
to December 16th. So just
Yeah,
over 2
we did have 2 months. So, I mean, if you still want to do that, we're at a different timeline now.
Yeah, we're
So,
6, 7.
yeah.
I'm wondering,
sorry, it's crazy.
That's pretty else gonna ask me. Some 5 months ago.
yeah, I could see us staying with this
Yeah.
schedule for this year.
Mhm.
What if during the process, we could start considering next year so that we can get the call out and give artists a lot more time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That might be a
I agree.
good resolution of this. Because I know artists, I work with artists, I work with thousands of artists. And
Oh, it's in my mind.
because a month, you want me to come up with a name? It just,
It's a
I just think we'll do better.
Can we look at maybe doing the end of April? How would that impact the legislature and how would it impact?
I mean, really, for most of our dates, they can be pushed. It's just going to end up pushing the timeline for the artist to install the work. which is ongoing from the summer on.
So
I don't
if,
know if artists will run into issues with, once the ground gets cold or things like that, if that's gonna impact them in the fall if they started then.
so we have to submit the resolution to the legislature May 22nd. So that we can get final contracts approved by June 22nd. Contracts are gonna be sent to artists June 26th, according to the schedule. They won't be paid until July. But we want them to install the artwork by the summer.
Right. Once they
I
have
mean,
their
it's already
contract,
very aggressive.
yeah, once they have their contract, they can get notice to proceed with songs and transit and stuff, so July, August, September.
But the payment won't come until mid-July.
That's how the county rolls.
I know. So, and I don't know if artists can really fund sculpture projects. So
Yeah. they just-
we might need
Yeah,
to stick
it's
with
tough.
our, yeah. Because it's already really tight.
And the legislature is off the end of July, the whole month of August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great point, then.
Yeah.
I think hopefully this will allow us to look at it in a different framework, though, being that if we stay with this, which is less than 150, very tight, very aggressive, I agree. However, it will prioritize for artists like myself that let things slip and get all scatterbrained. If I'm serious about $15,000 project, if I'm serious about a $200,000 project, $100,000 project, you will prioritize getting it done within a month's time.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're serious about it, so aggressive and tight,
Yeah.
turnaround, yes. However, I think that will filter out and only give us, I think, those who are really serious about it. I don't.
So for the next one, though, we just move everything up.
We have to.
Yeah, for the
Next year, we're gonna have to work towards that October, December
Start.
call.
We were talking last meeting about starting the draft plan
Mhm.
process earlier. So then with that, with the call, also
Yeah.
start earlier too.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Just estimate the
all
budget,
around.
right?
Yeah.
Not the budget yet.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
true.
Yeah.
Because the budget comes out when?
Well, we'll have our capital projects budget approved by September. The legislature, though,
December this year.
December is the whole budget, which includes capital. But this is based off the capital projects budget, isn't it? 1%. So we'll know, hopefully, a ballpark figure by October of what the capital project committee approves, and it goes to the legislature.
Okay.
The regular budget can be regulated by the legislature, but not too often the capital project is.
So I'll have to move up some things for next year.
Yeah, that's fine. Might have to think of some relocations and things like that a
Yeah.
little bit earlier.
Yeah, because last year we had the benefit of having these funds
Or we could
already
ask the
there.
legislature to just give us a hard, fast number instead of a percentage.
Right, we would have to change the local law.
Well, we might have to be, fine.
It could be an addition to
Yeah, just,
what we get.
yeah.
This has been a pretty darn successful
I don't
endeavor
think
moving
anybody
forward.
would, yeah, just adding it down. Or a lot, so much.
It's a possibility. Yeah.
Especially now the justifications that we have 2 calls under our belt.
Yeah.
We recognize the timing that is required for the call,
Yeah.
for processing the administration and what's needed for the artist. So we do have justification to.
Yeah,
Is that
moving into next year though,
might be difficult.
27 is, as the county executive has said in Buffalo News, what is it, arsenic and toxic flowers or something like that, dead flowers. So next year's going to be tighter budget.
We
But
do have 3 legislators ex officio members.
I mean, it's worth exploring the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly.
All right, we will need to add that to our new business, unfinished business. Okay, so back to the initial question at hand, we're looking at the budget for our 2 large public artworks. We have $190,000, $722.54. So basically $190,000. Dividing it by half, I don't know if we want to leave any in the coffer
I would leave some. Last year, just for instance, too, the Ellicott Creek sculpture, that was just under
Right.
50,000. It was like 49,000.
That's
The
right.
one that we didn't, the one that.
Right.
We didn't do, but that was the sculpture, the work. We, Public Works picked up
The concrete.
concrete and that work.
And the artist fee was very low on that one.
Right. So I
So
don't know if you use that, bump that.
do 70.
you say maybe
Five?
75. So I think between the two sites, this and botanicals, there's opportunity for a pretty good sized sculpture or something.
Yeah, for 75,000. I mean, yeah, I think that would be a good budget to start with.
And that leaves you to carry over.
Yeah.
40,000.
Don, Susan, did you hear all that?
I did, and I think it's a smart way to approach it.
Don?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So it looks like our budget will be set for $75,000 for the sculpture, for the public artwork for both locations. However, for IOView, we are adding an additional 10,000, which is for programming, education, community engagement. Is that correct?
Well, we
So-
actually, oh, go ahead, Joanna, you can.
Yeah, just wondering if I can jump in here. Originally, that $10,000 was our budget towards artwork. It does not need to be a separate outreach budget.
Right.
So, you could leave it at $75,000 and only $65,000 would come from your 190, so to speak. I'm currently working on contracting to acquire the $10,000, but the resolution that I put forth is it would just get added to the capital budget account for the committee. So it's not there yet because we don't have a contract executed, but in theory, it will just increase your amount, your total amount.
Okay, so question, are we, for this specific project, are we no longer concerned about the education portion or the community engagement portion, or do we want to fold that into the total project for $75,000?
Our feeling was the piece of art is outreach and education.
Okay,
There does not need to be a separate campaign necessarily. I mean, obviously the various groups that are involved can make social media posts about it, so on and so forth. It can be promoted and so forth, but the artwork itself is the outreach and education for us.
I like that. I think that makes sense.
okay.
If we start designating education for all of these, it might be complicated when it comes to using capital funds.
So you could change that to just say the total amount is 75,000 or whatever you choose, which includes 10,000. If you need to, well, somewhere it should probably acknowledge that there's this $10,000 grant from Submerged New York project.
Yes, it has to.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we need to strike the installation of artwork and educational components.
yes,
I think so, yes, yeah.
okay, all right. And then the next section we need to discuss is eligibility. It's highlighted in yellow. Do we want to disallow or make ineligible the people who have already completed the 2025 Art and Public Places Public Art Project? And if we do, we need to clarify if that also includes small works people or not.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah,
I don't think we should omit the small works individuals,
agreed.
or certainly.
Yeah.
The large public art individuals.
Maybe have like a 6-year
We should
period
probably add that.
in between when you can apply again. That would
I think that's
open it
fair.
up to more artists,
I think that's fair.
Yeah, if you want to include the 6-year rule into the call here, or just say that
We should
be on
probably
paper.
have on paper, on the website and on the paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you just don't state it and an artist submits a work, they might have to go back and say, well, sorry, you have to wait 6 years. Well, I wish you had told me that
Yeah.
before.
Right.
We're still gonna have to do that, just so you know.
Yeah.
Because artists are still gonna apply within the 6 years, within the 6 years. But I do think we should call out that
Mhm.
if you were selected for small works, you are eligible. We need to.
Okay.
Maybe have a 2-year span for these small works. So that, I just like the idea of opening it up to more artists.
Yeah, I think 2 years might be a little short for small works. But we can talk about that
Yeah,
during
yeah,
small works.
yeah.
But for this, we do need to clarify, because people may not know the difference between the large works and the small works.
Right.
So we need to clarify whether on the main page and specifically in the call for art that the small works awardees are eligible for this
Okay.
call.
It's fine too. I just threw a figure.
Because I'm sitting here on the side like. You know, like if you're a working artist, 6 is a long time to not be.
Oh, you're talking about public art though.
Yeah, talking about public art.
You're saying 4 years for public art
Yeah,
For large.
for the large?
as opposed to 6. Think of,
How about we do 5? I don't know. I mean, Susan, what do you think?
Such a diplomat.
I'm only saying that as like a working artist. Like if your main capital is you bidding on things, right? So you're already scrapping and you're finding grants and you're doing all this other things. And you have a grant, an opportunity like this, and you land and you do well, right? More work is going to obviously hopefully come to you.
Mhm.
However, to be out of the game for 6 years in order to bank on something like this that can float you for a little bit, it's a long time.
Okay, something similar to this kind of situation. We have a lot of shows here where we have prizes. And sometimes the prize is the thing that attracts an artist to entering a show. One of the things I hear, oh, so-and-so's entering, she always wins or he always wins, I'm not bothering.
Yep.
You know, so having a longer span between when an artist can submit work again, I think opens up doors for other artists. It's just thought.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with that. I'm just looking through the lens of, like, for example, I'm only using because that's my first prominent mural was 2017, right?
But there's other mural projects that you can still submit
Yeah.
to.
Yes.
You know, but this is just one project, the counties, you know, there's, you have the rest of the world to submit to. And now you have it on your resume that you had that installation. It's just, you know,
I'm cool. I'm just throwing it out.
yeah.
Okay, so
We'll do 6.
and I'm just bringing a different lens so you all hear. So for example, if Chuck and Cassie or Laura, who did a mural in 2025, decided, you know what, I want to do a sculpture. Do we make them wait 6 years? Or do we make them wait for 5 years? So that's just another lens. That's another thing to think about.
That one's easy. I mean, 'cause you still, no matter what, whether it's you doing a mural art or sculpture, that's
It's
still.
still public art.
It's the same artist.
So that-
Well,
it's still- it's just a matter of time. That was how I was concerned.
okay. So you have a note on your Susan,
Yes.
4 or 6. You're the tiebreaker.
Or five.
Well, then I'm gonna go with 5. Make it
I knew
even
you
more
did.
difficult. Well, the other thing is 5, in my case, would be an easier number to digest. You know, if I submit something in 2000, only because we started this 2025. So easier to say, well, you know,
You amendable? to that?
whatever.
Yeah.
Both
I mean, I'm happy with whatever decision is made,
I
but
just would have liked to have seen some
This
period where we give the opportunities to other people.
I agree.
Because, I would hate to have 5 sculptures by the same person or 5
Oh, yeah.
installations by the same person. Even though they're fabulous.
Oh,
I mean,
Agreed.
I think the idea of this was to give opportunities to
Absolutely.
as many artists as possible.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
Well,
Okay.
and I think we judge them, so we can always make decisions that, well, this person has had 3 projects and, or they have gone on to do bigger things or whatever. But I just think only because of the neatness of starting in 2025, we say 5 years and then whatever. But
Okay. Can we have a motion
Motion to.
to add?
5-year
Well, do we
period.
need to? Do we need? Yeah, we should vote on that.
I think a motion to have a 5-year period between allowing an artist who has been accepted into the collection, that they have to wait a 5-year hiatus before they can apply again
For large works.
For large works.
for large works, yes.
And we have a second
I'll second that.
and a vote. All in agreement? Any nays? Okay. And I would like to add your thoughts. When we do the call for art in the questionnaire, we should probably include, have you applied for, Erie County public or small, large or small works in the past, and were you awarded? That'll take some lift off of everybody else.
I would have the explanation in both calls
Mhm.
for the large
Absolutely.
work, 5 years, for the small work, 1 year, or whatever we decide on.
A little longer than 1 year. Okay, and you mean in no matter what the call is, whether it's
I
large
think
or
it should
small?
be involved, because otherwise people will look at it and be confused as to, well, I thought it was 5 years. Well, no, that's the other program.
Okay,
If it's in both, then it's clear what period.
so with
Good
that
idea.
being said, since we have to approve our call for art, then at this time, we need to determine what the small works timeline is. Any suggestions, discussion?
Doesn't it make sense that they both be the same? No?
I don't think it hurts. I don't think it hurts.
Thank you, Susan.
Okay.
So we will add to the call for art, we will add the distance of time, whether it be small works or large works, of when you can reapply for a project. After you've been awarded,
Yes.
you've been awarded.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Sorry.
Don't
Say you
apologize.
were awarded for large works, the next year, can you apply for small works?
It should be 5 years probably then, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's a general policy. Yeah, I think, I think that's a fair.
So you're out of the game completely for 5 years.
For 5 years, yeah.
Doesn't
Because
matter the
either-
size.
Either way, you've already been acquired by Erie County, so you already have that designation.
Yeah.
That's a good question, thank
You
you.
got that resume. Fine.
And if I can just throw something in, what might be a nice idea, and I don't know if we can do this, but do some kind of video scroll of the works that have actually been awarded and have been completed by the Erie County, making it the money available, and then maybe taking that video scroll, and it's more of a PR piece, but it does help the artist know that their work is continuing to be viewed and promoted and whatever. And then maybe either use a brochure or something that the legislators and county exec can put in their offices, their district offices. Just an idea.
Well, we do have on the public art page.
Website, right.
Have a catalog already. And I know we were talking about making sure it stayed there and then preserving it someplace else. But we do have that with that.
Right. And I think I
satisfied-
remember wanting the catalog. Okay.
Right.
But since we're going to add to it again, I think it's not for today's meeting, but let's talk about it in the future. How we keep the artists that have been awarded artwork and have been completed, how we keep them in front of the Erie County public.
Okay, yes, let's add that to future, but just a point to that. Imagine in 10 years, we have a paper catalog that has 10 years of not only small works, but public artworks, then we're talking about a Bible.
Well, you know, I mean, people
In
have, the
physical
art
form.
gallery does collections and they
Yeah,
have done like
yeah.
their
So
entire
we can always
collection
just keep the collections as a small
as a volume.
Yeah, but online, we would keep the running list,
Okay.
maybe,
That's fine.
maybe, but we can talk about it later.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
to be determined.
Or we could put all digital screens in all the legislature's offices, and then we could have a
I'm
rolling
sure they'd love it.
display of artwork, and then they won't be.
We could do a scrolling video.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
We do.
We can add it there.
It goes on.
Just big screen TVs.
Big screen
Off
TV.
the county employees.
And right now it's dog vaccinations.
Right.
I think.
That's true.
But yet I noticed it, right? So that's an excellent point.
Yeah, I think it's Susan's point, the PR piece.
Yes.
The
PR piece is great.
DISS, I believe.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I believe so. I think he's one of the regulators.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Since we did not have this 5-year rule in last year's call for work, would that be negated for this year's?
No, because it's specifically, well, you all can verify, but it's specifically to the call for
For
art.
this year?
Correct, yeah.
And because we didn't have it previously, we couldn't set that designation.
Okay, okay. I'm just thinking that somebody who submitted and got the award might come and say, well,
You never
you
told
never
me.
told me that I wasn't gonna be, you know.
Well, we're telling you now.
It's a,
Yeah.
well, right, it's a
We're
good,
telling
it's a
you
good
now.
question. It's not in local law, but
Yeah.
we are implementing it moving forward.
Okay.
You know, and
He who has the money sets the rules.
we have issues.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
yeah, I think getting it now,
Agreed.
awesome. Okay, so, that concludes any of the new pieces. If anybody wants to make a quick perusal for the rest, nothing has changed from the previous call for art other than the dates. So, and everything we thoroughly discussed last year, all of these requirements and specifics, so I think we should be good.
are we gonna use the same process where we can download it online?
If the process is gonna change, so we're gonna have to go through a new training because we're going through cafe. Yeah, so it's gonna be less manual work for Colette and for us, but there's still gonna be more work, same amount of work for us. We're gonna have to go through each application.
Has anyone used Cafe?
Yeah, yes, we have. Yeah,
No?
I've done it from the
I
administrative
haven't either,
end.
so
It's-
we'll be learning.
Once you go through the training,
Yeah.
it's very intuitive.
Mhm.
So, and I think
Oh,
they've
don't do
made.
that. Don't do that. My tech I use is, oh, it's intuitive. You should know. No. 75 years old. No, nothing's intuitive.
Well, Susan has her granddaughter, and we'll help you.
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna
That's
write
right.
those
Like
dates
you have
down and invite my
grandchildren to help
granddaughter.
But we'll get through
Give
it.
me Tracy, Don.
We'll get through it.
Don, I'll invite you over when my granddaughter's
There you go. There you go.
going through it.
Oh my gosh. So it sounds like we are all set with the call for art for IOU. Can we have a vote or motion to approve this call for art based off of the discussion and the modifications that were discussed and recorded by Colette?
Motion to approve pop art for the Iowa View Park. In all of this recommendation.
May we have a second?
Second.
And all in favor? Okay. It is 12:54 for anyone that needs to be excused, but we do still have a lot of work to do. Okay, so moving on to the Botanical Gardens call for art. If we could take some time to look through, if you haven't online, gone through everything, just to see if there are any modifications or recommendations that are required. The same recommendations that we've had regarding budget and eligibility will be copied to this call for art.
Just a question, is the Botanical Gardens wanting to or willing to add to the fund to go for a bigger piece, or is this strictly going to be Erie County's project?
As our conversation was before, this was strictly Erie County.
They got their hands full right now with the expansion.
Yeah, I just thought I wanted to give them, if they felt they wanted to.
Raise
on
more.
And other people in the Botanical Gardens wanted to up it to get a more impressive piece. Not to close the door on that possibility, but I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, I think if something like an opportunity came up, we would definitely explore it. But with all of our fundraising pieces right now, I don't think we could manage it.
Yeah. I think 75,000 is a good budget for sculpture.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the glass. So this is
You're only looking at this one location?
Mhm.
So the location that we have on there is right next to the new entrance. I think we would be open to another place in that general area near the entrance. So if like we wanted to move it to the other side of that pathway right there, that's okay with us as long as it's suited to the space. But we really thought it would be best to kind of use it to draw folks because it's going to be kind of a retraining system to get people to go to that entrance. So we wanted it to be like.
And when we had our meeting, I think that's what we discussed, that would be the best place when we had the meeting at Botanical Gardens last year, that this would be the most iconic space. We did talk about other locations, but maybe in future calls.
Will there be greenery there?
Yeah.
That the artist would have to take into consideration?
So,
or would the greenery be adjustable?
We can definitely adjust it. Okay. If you look at the rendering, it does have like a bed that's installed with a bunch of different flowers. We have a landscape plan for that space, but that won't be installed probably until the same time as the sculpture or after the sculpture. So if we need to make adjustments, take out larger things to make sure it's not obstructing the sculpture, we can definitely do that. It's not an issue.
So there's an opportunity that when we have the meeting with artists for the sculpture, that we can actually have a conversation and bring you all in so that we can make sure we talk about landscaping if they had an idea.
I think we'll need to, honestly, just to, because if the installation is looking at summer 2026 ongoing in that time frame, we want to make sure construction stays on schedule and we can bring them in. And if they're manufacturing, we want to be thoughtful of their time as well. So keeping that conversation open so that it all happens at a good time.
Okay.
Is there any kind of infrastructure underneath that the artist is going to have to take into consideration?
I don't know off the top of my head.
We could check county. Yeah. Parks.
The utilities don't run through there.
Yeah,
There's gas line going across.
there's some existing there. The gas line's close.
Yeah.
811. We even do 811.
Yeah, and if we do it like we did Ellicott Creek, if it needs a pedestal, that's where we'll do that for so the artist stop before we run it.
Right. Yeah.
for each other.
So we'll have to make sure we mention that. We don't have to put it in the call, we didn't put it in the call
No.
last time, but during the conversation, if they do, if the artists we select have the concrete pad in their call for art,
Yeah. We take it out.
we work with them on that, along with equipment and things like that.
Okay.
We engineer it, so it's safe,
We're working.
pay for that side of it.
Great.
Gives the artist more flexibility.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And it
awesome.
helps with their budget too.
For sure.
So we'll invite you in when we do the call for the artists. There was something I was thinking of, you brought up a good point, but it's gone now. Okay. So one location that we're looking at for this specific call for art, the budget will be $75,000. The theme is growing beyond the glass, more than a building. Susan, any comments or thoughts that you have about this call for art or things that we should think about considering the location?
I think it's very well done and very a lot of thought went into the location and the concept. And I have loved the botanical gardens since I was 5. I grew up very close to there.
Awesome. Okay. Construction. So if there is an issue with construction, I do know that with sculpture, it's kind of easy to install anytime per se, so we shouldn't. So if it's not specifically summer, we can still push it out. Okay,
All right,
so that's clear and
Perfect.
understood. We do have some flexibility with the timeline for the botanical gardens based on the construction. Okay, so if there's no conversation, no recommendations, no more discussion needed, can we have a motion to approve the botanical garden call for art as written?
I will make the motion to
Wait.
approve. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I don't know
Go
that
ahead.
you can, unfortunately.
I can't?
No,
No,
because you're not
unfortunately.
here. You're enjoying the Florida sun.
Here.
Oh, okay.
So, that's,
So moved.
and may we have all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Sorry, Susan.
Whether it counts or not.
Okay. Whew. So we have successfully reviewed both calls for art, and they will be submitted along with the master plan to the legislature for approval. We have already discussed funding allocation for major works projects, so that was already completed when we did our review. Moving on to unfinished business, alternative program titles for small works acquisition program. Did we have suggestions?
Sure.
Do you have an update?
So at the last meeting, that was briefly discussed about changing some of the titles. If that's something that the committee still would like to do. I know the term commissioned art was thrown out there, and then standalone acquisitions for the small works.
I still like small.
It's about individual acquisitions as opposed to small.
I'm still staying on small.
Susan, did you ever talk to the people at the Albright, or sorry, AKG, I'm dating myself, about the, what they call individual works? Weren't you going to look into that?
I'm sorry, I don't even remember offering to do it. So I apologize. I will get to that tomorrow, okay, and send everybody an email if that helps.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm very sorry.
Okay. Is that the January meeting?
We did discuss it at the January meeting, but it was sort of a
Oh, it was
lofty,
got
you
it.
know, if
Yeah,
anyone has
kind of
any.
got lost in each other.
Apologize.
Okay, so how would you all like to move forward? Do you want to discuss this? We have one person standing on small works acquisition. Sounds like Don and Susan might want to change it. do we maybe want to make this official, add it to our meeting notes, and maybe add the suggestions that were provided? So we have a few more meetings to think about it and consider it.
Doesn't have to be done now.
Yeah.
If we could push it off to the next meeting,
Yeah.
that would help. Because,
Yeah.
and I'd be interested in knowing if there's a difference legally in what we call it. And that I can ask the Albright
what's been
too.
approved?
Oh, sorry, Don, the Albright.
Is that because, are you saying from a standpoint of what's been approved through the legislature or legally in terms of the art world?
Legally in terms of who owns the artwork. I mean, even if you commission an artwork very often, and Don, you can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. There is, you can't really use it at will, the publication of it or something like that. There's a lot of discussion about even at the AKG, we own it, but there's a big but there. You can't duplicate it or copy it or anything within.
Right. And
Right.
that's what we have in place currently for our small works. So we acquire the piece, we pay for it,
Right.
we can use it to market it, but the artists still retain the copyrights to it, so they
Okay.
can still
They own
reproduce
it.
it, they can
Okay.
own it. For example, Monet, one of the pieces that we acquired was actually, and I meant to tell you all this, was awarded a National Illustration Prize. So that's something that when we allow that to happen, it kind of bolsters our reputation as an acquiring institution in my eyes.
Sounds great. Mm-hmm.
I forgot what the award was. I can look it up and let you know.
Okay.
She was awarded something for one of those pieces. But we can table, what you were gonna say?
I'm just curious what's wrong with small.
Well, I just think, I think when you say small work, I think of something like that little piece over there. I don't think of a wall size piece as being small works, and I think that's what is in the artist's mind. But
We did discuss this, actually. I didn't mean to cut you off, but we did discuss this last year when we were talking about the small works, because we didn't want to exclude, 3D sculpture. So we
Right,
did,
right,
and we also have the dimensions there.
right.
So because of our, and I either just for full disclosure, I don't care either way. But in terms of how we have structured Erie County and the calls, it seems like we've already separated or defined what large is and what small is. So that's just something to think about as we continue the conversation.
We have a 4-foot piece in the collection, right?
Right. Based on the dimension.
You know what I'm saying? It's a
Right,
whatever.
but there might
submitted that.
That's the same
Size is pretty.
We do, yeah, we went through the size.
I mean, is it exhibit, like it's exhibition size, like what, I don't know. To me, it works in order.
Well, I'm just thinking a lot of times there are organizations who will have a small work show, and that means small works, and they will say 12 by 12 or whatever. But I'm just trying to negate that confusion in the minds of artists who might want to participate.
Okay. Well, let's table it this time, maybe.
Okay.
we
I
do
will
it.
try to get an email
I'm
out
sure we
to
do the
everybody.
research and find out
Yeah.
some alternative.
Yeah.
We may stay with small works. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm just trying to limit confusion.
You're thinking about the perception from the artist when they
Yeah.
actually see it, whether
Yeah.
they bother
Yeah,
to.
yeah, right. And
Yeah,
we
so
might
let-
be losing an opportunity with an amazing artist.
Okay, so let's, we'll table it, we'll do our research, even go online and kind of look up, if you Google small works, just to get an idea of what that perception could be. And think about it considering what communications we've already put out there for Erie County, and then make the determination.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so is there any new business to discuss?
I do want to ask, a part of the communication we received, there was consideration being given to a contact list.
Yes. Yeah, so in
Yes.
the packets that everyone received here physically, there is a new contact list. Don had requested just some contact information for those who are on the committee. And I'll send that out to everybody who is not physically here.
That's great.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
At this time, do we have any public comment? I don't see anyone outside of the committee other than the people who are participating in our actions here. So there's no public comment. At this time, it is 1:09, and can we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. It is said, it is done. Thank you all. That wasn't too
Thank you.
bad.
Another good meeting, and thanks to the
Thank you.
Erie County employees.
Thank you, Susan.
Thanks, Susan.
Enjoy the sun.
Thanks.
Get back
Bye-bye.
to
Hi,
the snow
David.
fast.
Yeah.
Miss you.
We miss you.
Snow misses you.
I miss you all.